Hello out there. We're on the air. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to the Daily Bitcoin Journey. It's Tuesday. It is a much better day today. Things are good. LG, life is good. Zap.stream is running, although we got the wrong title on there today. But that's pretty easy to fix. How do we do that again? There we go. Okay. Well, good morning once again. Welcome to the Daily Bitcoin Journey. This show is actionable and logical discussion for Bitcoiners and for future Bitcoiners. Today is going to be for a bit of both, I would say. Mostly for Bitcoiners, though. The people who are here today, that's who the show is going to be focused on. Try to mix it up. I try to do some shows that are geared towards newer Bitcoiners, some that are geared towards older Bitcoiners. Would you say older or seasoned or veterans or experienced? I don't know. Doesn't much matter either way. But we got Zap.stream running now. We got the right title. And we see Letha is over there with her new Bitcoin Pepsi shirt. Big shout out to Juxtapose for that. Maybe we'll just start the show with that today. It's going to be a quick one today. Not quick, but not long. I got some important business to tend to today. I got a meeting right after this with somebody who's looking to buy some Bitcoin or protect their Bitcoin, one of the two. And then I got, I'm going on to another podcast today. So I forget the fellow's name, but he's got a fairly big channel, bigger than this one. So that's kind of exciting. Always nice when you get asked to be on a podcast. This will be my second one today, or second one so far. So here is the shirt, as I was talking about, that Letha was showing off on Nostr yesterday. The Bitcoin Cola shirt. So there you go. Hey, there you go. Pretty nice shirt, honestly. It looked pretty good on Letha as well. These are awesome shirts. This is I have the 21 million one right here. I bought this one live on the show a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago now. Paid for this baby in sats with using Lightning live on the show. So you can find all this stuff. Pretty important, I think. Got some really good stuff on here. If you want to find Bitcoiners, you got to let people know that you're a Bitcoiner. So got some shirts, got a really nice hat there. And this is a new one, the Zap Cap. That's pretty cool. If I was a dad hat wearer, I would definitely get myself one of those. So that is, you can find that by going to juxtapose.store. And if you can't remember that or you don't know how to spell that, you can find it in the show notes below. Okay, let's check on what the F is going on in the chat here. We get our friend, Mr. James Bond, is in the house. Or he was here and gone. Not sure. He's a busy guy. Johnny, good morning. Kev says it's the easiest path. It's the easy path once we've understood it. And Jason says a nod to Francis. That is correct. Our fellow Canadian Bitcoiner who's killing it in Bitcoin. So we're giving him a nod today. The show is dedicated towards Francis. Jose, good morning. Daniel is on both streams. Duncan, Adrian, Nix says, hello, man. Great show. Thank you. We're working on it here. We're working pretty hard at it. MRNC, another day, seasoned Bitcoiner. And Rick, good morning all. Smash the like. On the way to 3,000 followers. Let's go. Amen to that. She's growing. She's growing pretty quick. Had some spare time today. Yesterday, as everybody knows, I'm sure that was here yesterday, it was a bit of a disaster. And of course, that was the day that we had the most people watch the show and the most people show up for the live chat. So hopefully they came back today. Who knows? Hey, there we go. Look at that. Daniel's Zap button is back. He just zapped 1,000 sats over in the Zap.stream. How'd you get that going? It wasn't anything that I did. Letha says, love my shirt. And we got Phoenix Falconer and Crypto Heathen over in the Zapdos stream. And we got Tommy. Morning, Tommy. Jose says, if I saw someone wearing that shirt in public, I might just go up and hug them. That's what I mean. Like, not only are they nice shirts, but they're a really good way to just find your crowd, essentially, in public, on the golf course, at a restaurant, anywhere. Find your fellow Bitcoiners pretty easily by tossing on a Bitcoin shirt or hat. And you never know where that interaction is going to lead to. Okay, so we got, let's get to some business here. Let's check out the mempool. We're currently sitting at block height 845,510. And look at those transaction fees. That's the first one I've seen that. So the last miner only got, how much is that? 9 million sats for their fees? $6,400. I mean, they got a total of 220,000 US dollars, or more importantly, 3.22 Bitcoin, but it's pretty low. So if you do have any Bitcoin to be moving around today, it's a good day to do it. On layer one, any day is a good day to move Bitcoin if you're using Lightning, Liquid, eCash. But if you're using layer one, today would be the day to do it. 8 sats per VByte. Price today dropped down a little bit, 68,208 US dollars. 1 year ago, you could have purchased one Bitcoin for 28,075 USD. And 4 years ago, you could have got one for 9,560 US dollars. The Moscow time today, $1 US will get you 1,467 sats. And in Canada today, it's a little bit gloomy. Cut the grass yesterday. I had so much time on my hands this morning that I actually stood up in the bedroom when this is how, I don't know what the right word would be here. Lame, nerdy, old, any of those three you could choose. But I stood up in the bedroom window today and looked down at the grass. And I wasn't, fairly proud of it. But at the same time, I was mapping out how I could do a better cut in the grass based on the trees, based on the area. I was doing like a little map of how I could start it and how I could get it done. I don't know. I guess not much to talk about today when you're worrying about that kind of stuff. It's a good day though. Price today here in Canada, 92,929 Canadian dollars. And the Moose Jaw time today, the equivalent $1 Canadian, 1 loonie, gets you 1,074 sats. Or if you got a toonie, it would get you 2,108 sats, I think, something like that. Either way, it is the deal of a lifetime. Good morning, Mist 666. We'll just call you Mist. We'll forget about the numbers on there. Love your Bitcoin stuff. Thank you. Yeah, I think that there's a lot. Well, yesterday that we had 60 people on the YouTube chat. I'm thinking because of the Ethereum video that went somewhat viral over the weekend, we had a bunch of new people, a bunch of new subscribers, and good to see. I mean, we took some shit for it. We took a lot of shit for the video, but at the same time, as I said to the people who were leaving some foul comments in there, I said, thanks for the boost. Every comment you make, this video is going to spread further. So they're trying to stop it, just like anything. That's a really good microcosm of Bitcoin itself. The harder you push against it, the more it wins. So we took some shit, but we found about, I would say honestly, 300 or 400 new subscribers in the last 2 days. And not just subscribers, but Bitcoiners. Some new friends online. And the more we can grow this community, the more we can grow this network. As we're going to talk about, the better off we're going to be. So big shout out to everybody who is new to the channel. We got a new one over in Zap.stream as well. Okay, so let's get down to business because we got lots to talk about and we don't have a whole lot of time to do it. 8:23. I really got to manage. I got to watch the time here because I got to be gone at 8:55 sharp. So today we're going to start the show with a daily block reward. I'm going to have to find it here quickly. I should have had this up, but we didn't. Let's go back and start this here. And then let's go to Matthew Hines in the chat says, what's eCash and is it important? What is eCash? Well, it's essentially eCash. I don't know. It couldn't be any more straightforward in that sense. But the beauty of eCash is that you can actually swap it back and forth with Bitcoin. So it's a much more private way to use Bitcoin. It's a much cheaper way to use Bitcoin. We're not going to get into it today. We've talked about it a couple of times, and maybe we'll do a show in the future specifically for eCash. But there's a ton of videos online, a ton of videos on YouTube about eCash. It is great. It's going to be one of the layers, I think, that is going to be very successful for Bitcoin. Bitcoin, as it is, layer one, it can scale. There's no way that every person on earth could be using the Bitcoin layer one network. No Bitcoin expects that. And it's funny because the majority of people who shit on Bitcoin, they think that it's slow and expensive. And layer one is, and that's what it's designed to be because it's a very secure network. So the average person won't be using the Bitcoin layer one network. Most people won't even have their own UTXO. So if you are somebody who has Bitcoin on layer one right now, protect that with your life because it's going to be very, very valuable in the future. But eCash is a good way to send Bitcoin or send cash very privately, very quickly, and very inexpensively. Inexpensively? Cheaply? I don't know what the word is. So this was, we got a bunch of comments on this video. Actually, this was another one that went fairly viral for this little channel anyways. But the video was called Satoshi Millionaire, Can You Get 1% of a Bitcoin? Kind of like a challenge to people. There's a couple folks on YouTube, bald folks, we'll call them, or folk, who's trying to tell people to get to 1 Bitcoin. That should be their goal. And as we just mentioned in the metrics there, it's $95,000 for a Bitcoin. Not a whole lot of people have that. And I think if you're taking a long enough view on Bitcoin, 1 million sats will be plenty. And so if you're just getting into Bitcoin right now, I think that's a very good goal. It costs about 900 bucks Canadian, about $650, $700 US right now to get 1 million sats. I think that should be a goal for a lot of people who are just getting into Bitcoin. So this was a comment on that video and is from a fella. Oh, why did I click that? It's a fella named Life of a 40-something. And I just left the comment there to get his name. Okay, so here's the comment. That was the video that we were talking about, and this was the comment that they had. Said, it's possible, but hard. I'm a 44-year-old who's been buying heavily since October 2022 on a minimum wage job with overtime and bonuses. Currently up to 0.55 Bitcoin. So, okay, I'll keep going here, and then we'll talk about it. Currently up to 0.55 Bitcoin, aiming for 0.65 or 65 million sats by September, and then hoping to trade my ADA, SOL, and other garbage tokens I've accumulated recently to get as close to 1 Bitcoin as I can. Should be there or thereabouts. Great channel. Keep doing what you're doing, dude. So great comment overall. I mean, that's something that everybody should be working towards. He says he's been buying heavily since October 2022 on a minimum wage job with overtime and bonuses. And his goal, he's going to try to get to 1 Bitcoin. Very inspiring story, I think, for me and for a lot of people out there. Working a minimum wage job, working some overtime, getting some bonuses, and dumping that into Bitcoin as fast as possible. So that's the first comment I would have. Is just incredible stuff. Great to see that. That's the reason we're doing this channel here, to hear stories like that and to meet people who are going through that. Second thing, don't ever share how much Bitcoin you have. That's the number one rule in Bitcoin. Never tell anybody, especially YouTube, how much Bitcoin you have. You just put a very unnecessary target on your back. And part of what we're going to be talking about today, if we have time, is that. So that's the second comment. And then the third one is said he's hoping to trade ADA, SOL, and other garbage tokens for Bitcoin. But my question would be, when are you planning to do that? Because as this thing moves forward, as the huge capital, all of the capital from around the world, countries, public companies, individuals, everybody continues to invest and get into Bitcoin. it's only going to go up. And those garbage tokens you mentioned, Sol, ADA, they're going to go down. Even if they go up in price in fiat, that doesn't matter. They're going to go down in comparison to Bitcoin. So don't wait. That'd be my advice. Don't wait to trade it for Bitcoin. Do it today or do it this week. Do it as fast as you possibly can. And that's a message to anybody out there who is planning to trade some of their altcoins when the price of them gets higher. But you have to keep in mind that when you go to trade them in, even though the price is higher, you're going to get way less Bitcoin for it. So there is no time like today to trade all of your casino coins in for the real coin, the only coin. So big shout out there to Life of a 40 something for that comment, just with a couple of my own comments in there as well. Let's start the show with a quote here after the daily block reward. This is a quote from Carl B. Menger. And this is on, I'll bring it up here. This is on Primal. So the quote is, far too many people work their whole lives for money without spending a single day understanding what money is and how it works. Education is key. Study Bitcoin. So we've talked about a couple different aspects of the theme for today. Oh, that's not what we wanted to show. Got to be careful with screen shares when you're doing live shows. But anyways, big shout out to Duncan there for joining the Living in the Future chat. That could have went a lot worse than it did. Charles says, get your work in today. Absolutely. Get your work in. Get your workout in every single day. There is truly nothing like a workout. If you ever need a mood boost, I know a lot of people turn to different things in life if they need a mood boost. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people who are going towards very bad things for them, including pills and stuff like that to boost their mood. But the best thing that you can do, honestly, ever, is just do a workout, whether it's 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, longer, just get sweat. That's it. Work out until you sweat. And I guarantee that whatever you were feeling before, after that workout, you're going to feel a lot better than you were. So good message there from Charles. And Mighty Hawker says, great channel. Thanks for the Bitcoin education. Of course, that's what we're here for. Good morning, AC. And I see Microdose BTC is over in the Zapdos stream and Zap 21 sats. Thank you, my friend. MRNC says, probably not a good idea to wear shirts around either. Could make you a target. Yeah. But I mean, nobody's going to... The whole idea with the shirts is that you just like, if you're walking past somebody or you're at a bar or a lounge and somebody comes up and says, hey, nice shirt. And then you start talking about Bitcoin for 5 minutes or 5 hours, whatever it is. But I don't think if you're wearing a Bitcoin shirt, somebody's going to like hit you over the head and try to steal your Bitcoin, because if they know anything about Bitcoin, you don't travel with your Bitcoin. I mean, they might get, and that's probably a good point to make there, is that you never want to travel with too much Bitcoin. Kind of with the idea behind, a wallet of Satoshi, a Phoenix wallet, any sort of Bitcoin on layer 1, on Lightning, on Liquid, on eCash. You never want to keep enough on your phone. Only keep the amount of sats and Bitcoin on your phone as you would keep taking cash to like a bar or going out or going exploring around a town somewhere. You have some cash in your wallet. That's how much Bitcoin you should be keeping on your phone at any given time. And the rest should be taken off and put onto cold storage. Chipman says, you must be doing something right. You popped up in my feeds. Cheers to that. And thank you to the YouTube algorithm. Sometimes it doesn't like me. Sometimes it does. Hey, Bond's in the house. He's here for a live one today. Okay, I was going to talk about a few other things, but we really don't have time today. So I'm going to keep things rolling here. The big news, I think, from yesterday in terms of the Bitcoin world / the freedom world is that Trump was on an interview, and I was going to show the video, but I know that there's some people who watch the show who suffer from Trump derangement syndrome. So we won't be talking about, we won't be showing the video, but Trump had an interview with Tim Pool yesterday. And the quote that he said was that there's very serious consideration to free Julian Assange. So in a matter of 5 days here, this is kind of the Trump timeline. Talks about Bitcoin, says that they're going to protect the right to self-custody in the US. They're never going to have central bank digital currencies in the US. He said no central bank on the interview yesterday too. No central bank digital currencies. He said he was going to free Ross Ulbricht, and give very serious consideration to freeing Julian Assange. And then we have the other, what would you call him? What's a good word for Sleepy Joe, I guess? He's fallen asleep yesterday. Fallen asleep at a Memorial Day service in the States. So I know people don't believe in voting. Most people who are in Bitcoin don't believe in voting, but it helps. And we have a guy who's embracing Bitcoin, saying the right things. And to me, anyways, even though, as I said, there's a lot of people who suffer from Trump derangement syndrome who watch this channel, maybe. But Trump's a guy who keeps his word. So when he says these things, I believe him. I have no reason not to. And there's a, without going too far into this, I think that if you actually looked at what Trump did, what he accomplished in his short 4 years as a president, 0 wars was one. He put a big focus on trying to end child trafficking. He made peace deals with a dozen countries who you'd never think the U.S. would be making peace deals with. He brought back jobs to the economy in the U.S. Stock market was high, but the stock market's a complete illusion through and through. But he put his country first. And I just wish that for Canada and for anybody out there watching it, you probably wish that you had a president or a prime minister. Even though we hate politicians, you want somebody who puts your country first. And Trump did that. Aaron Haywood, our favorite, what would you call him? Doomer? Our favorite doomer in the chat says Trump didn't keep his word. He didn't arrest Hillary or build a wall. Well, I don't know about that. Either of those two. He built a pretty big wall, actually. And we really don't know if Hillary is out there or who the actual president is right now. Chico and the Van. That's a great name. Great little logo there, too. Best way to accumulate is to quit renting. I moved into a van and hit my accumulation goal before the halving. Now I just wait. Down by the river? I don't think I could live in a van. As much as that sounds cool in theory, and there's this societal obsession about having a tiny house and a van, and I mean, I get it, and I very, very much respect the fact that you did that. That takes a lot of balls and a very long time preference there to be able to do that. So I very much respect you for doing that. I just couldn't do it. This house is fairly big. This property is fairly big. I like having space, and I mean, I'd like to have a van just to kind of tour around, but there's no way that I could live in a van. But like I said, all the power to you for doing that. Stephen, our good buddy from Ireland. Good morning. Proof of work. Nice one yesterday. Was it nice? I don't know. I thought it was a shit show of a show, but it was the most watched show we've ever had and the most people we'd ever have in the chat. So of course, that's how the universe works. So let's keep things going here. The point of today, I really got to watch the time, and I apologize. I'm probably going to say that a few times, but it's 8:37, and we'll keep things rolling here. Crypto Heathen says, after doing Murph yesterday, today's a definite rest day. So he's talking about CrossFit, I'm guessing, the Murph workout. I was in CrossFit for a year or two, maybe. A lot of people shit on CrossFit. I would not shit on CrossFit. That is one heck of a workout. If you want to, if you're training for something, the problem is that they just talk about CrossFit all the time, kind of like Bitcoiners in a way. But if you get through one of those CrossFit workouts, on the other side of that is a pretty euphoric feeling, I think. I got up to pretty good weight, pretty good strength doing CrossFit. It is not for the faint of heart. I'll tell you that for free. Crypto Ethan also says, absolutely, this year was my first completing the entire thing with a 20-pound vest. Last year I had to take it off halfway. Awesome. Big shout out. Aaron Haywood, the backup account, says CrossFit is a cult and expensive. I honestly wouldn't say that I disagree with that comment. But you also have to define what a cult is. A lot of people say that Bitcoiners are a cult. And I mean, if you think about it, we kind of are. Cult, culture, community, same kind of thing. And CrossFit is expensive. Some of those gyms are pretty pricey. And I think that the membership is much better spent on sats, on Bitcoin. So, I mean, you can do it. You can do the workouts. You don't need to spend $150 a month doing it. I mean, you kind of have to learn the foundation first, same as anything. Same as anything. You need to invest in learning what you're doing. And then from there, you can find the most efficient ways to do it and inexpensive ways to do it. So let's get to the main part of the show here. I might have to put this on fast forward a bit. The show today is called Taking the Hard Path. And that's kind of what we're doing. If you're a Bitcoiner, I'm sure you've lived through this already. Or if you're new to Bitcoin, get ready for it. The thing with Bitcoin is that for 95% of your life, 90 to 95% of your life, you're going to be called a dipshit. You're going to be called crazy. You're going to be called the Bitcoin guy. For 95% of your life, you're going to take a lot of shit. But that 5%, when things are running up fast and everybody's trying to get a piece of some Bitcoin, every 4 years or so, you're going to be a savior to them. And it's not an easy line to walk there. I mean, it's a big swing in terms of being the batshit crazy guy to being somebody that everybody wants to talk to in a matter of weeks. So you just kind of have to prepare for this. I got 5 or 6 things here that I want to talk about in terms of taking the hard path and how to set yourself up for that. The easiest way to take the hard path, I guess. But let's listen to Francis Pouliot. This guy's from Bull Bitcoin. He's the CEO of Bull Bitcoin. I love Bull Bitcoin. And if there's any Canadians watching the show today, I want you to seriously consider whatever exchange you use, whether it's ShakePay, BitBuy, Binance, Coinbase, stop using it and start using Bull Bitcoin. When you hear Francis talk and you see their company's mission and they just do things the right way. They're on Team Bitcoin. They're not on Team Government. I can't say the same about ShakePay. So Bull Bitcoin, if you are somebody in Canada, I'm going to put on Francis here, but they're doing things the right way. And I've never found one issue with Bull Bitcoin. I've been using them for a couple of years now, and I've had nothing but great experience with them. They are Team Bitcoin. You have to keep that in mind because when shit hits the fan, you want people like this on your team and you want to be part of what they're doing here. So in order to support them, in order to keep guys like Francis going, we have to support them. So there is in the show notes, I got a referral link there. You sign up, you get $20 for free. And they just came up with an app for Android, which he spent some time talking about here. Very interesting. I don't have an Android, but I'm honestly thinking about buying an Android just so I can use the Bull Bitcoin app. That's how much I love Bull Bitcoin. I'm not paid by them, no affiliation with them, just a very happy guy using their stuff. So let's listen to what he has to say here. I'm going to put this on 2x or 1.5x for time's sake. And I'm not really sure how long we're going to watch it. Probably about 5 minutes maybe. But there's a couple key points here that I want everybody to get on board with in a way. Just set your expectations here. So let's find this on here. There we go. It says Bull Bitcoin available in Asia. I do not think so. I think they're still Canada only. But for the Canadians in the house, make sure that you're getting a Bull Bitcoin account. Where are we here? Speed 1.5. Here we go.
A service that was valued by our customers. Every network fee that we pay, every dime we put in R&D comes straight out of our pockets. So if our non-custodial Bitcoin-only model fails, there will be no bailouts. There's another more noble purpose to choosing this path. I'm heavily involved in a community circular economy project in Costa Rica called Bitcoin Jungle. So we spend countless hours educating locals, setting up point of sales for merchants, and we've built an entire infrastructure that is able for Bitcoin to not only survive, but thrive in even the most remote regions of Central America. And all of this we do for free. In fact, we pay for this out of pocket. And I discovered recently that there was a few people that were skeptical of our efforts. And I met one of them, and he asked me, why are you doing this if you're not making any money from it? Well, we do it because we love Bitcoin. We believe in the ideology of Bitcoin and its underlying cypherpunk and free market principles. We do it because as sovereign individuals, we cannot live in isolation. We do it because we all benefit from the success of our communities. We do it because we want our kids to grow up in a world that is free from the evils of fiat currency. May our children never suffer the corruption of participating in socialist economic systems that drain their time and wealth by the simple fact of interacting with fiat currency. We do it because it is a moral imperative. In a world of systematic injustice, doing nothing is to be complicit. You cannot live a virtuous life with the knowledge that you had the capacity to act heroically, but chose to capitulate. Bitcoin is at the center of a spiritual war between the forces of corruption and the forces of liberation. There is a higher power that calls us to become the resistance. Bitcoin is hope. Bitcoin is salvation. And if Bitcoin fails, everyone on Earth is truly and utterly fucked. We are at the cusp of a foundational civilizational change with the digitization of money. The global, debt-fueled fiat Ponzi is imploding right before our eyes. What comes next is up to us to determine. We are at the right place and the right time. We have a unique window of opportunity that may never come again within our lifetimes and that of our children. The choices we make today will shape how the world looks 100 years from now. Whether our descendants live in totalitarian dystopias or will be ushering in a new era of prosperity and freedom depends on our willingness to take the difficult path today. And if you think the hard part is over and Bitcoin has already won, think again. During our decade of operational experience, there were few serious attacks on the Bitcoin network. Bitcoin had relatively low levels of adoption. And apart from a few periods of intense fee spikes and, of course, the 4 quarters of 2017, it's been pretty much smooth sailing. Bitcoin's been flying under the radar, left to develop organically in the hands of its cypherpunk caretakers. But this era of complacency is over. From now on, everything is about to get much, much harder. But this is what we live for. Nothing easy is worth pursuing. I'm here to tell you today that we haven't given up on Bitcoin's mission to free humanity from the shackles of fiat slavery and centralized system. And we are, in fact, reinvigorated by the challenges that Bitcoin is facing and that will continue to intensify. We will not give up on Bitcoin's use case as a medium of exchange, and we will continue to build tools that make it easy for anyone to opt out of traditional banking systems to conduct peer-to-peer transactions securely, as was originally intended by Satoshi when he launched the Bitcoin project. This new epoch, Bull Bitcoin is leveling up to an entire new standard for consumer-facing applications. I think higher than anyone has ever seen. We have been thinking about how to make our unique non-custodial Bitcoin-only model work sustainably for years. This is the hill we chose to die on. But as we entered into this new epoch, I've witnessed many in the Bitcoin community become cynical, fatalistic, and even depressed. It's hard to blame them. Privacy-preserving tools are being shut down. The Lightning Network is suffering scalability issues. The Bitcoin blockchain is being spammed by degenerate NFT scammers that are driving up transaction fees for everyone else. Bankers and Wall Street insiders are accumulating Bitcoin fortunes and presenting ETFs as an alternative to self-custody. Bitcoin mining is being heavily centralized among a small group of American-based public companies. Sometimes feel like Bitcoin is under attack by nefarious actors that want to control it or corrupt it. And even from within our own community, we are suffering from prophets of doom, spewing fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Many sneer that the Lightning Network is broken, that Bitcoin has been co-opted by Wall Street. Some say we should give up and switch to altcoins. Some blame the laser-eyed maxis for blocking protocol upgrades and claiming that's the reason why we have high fees. Others are pushing the idea that Bitcoin was actually never meant for payments anyway, and that being a store of value was always the goal. Who cares about the poor, they say? The plebs can always keep their funds on an exchange. At Bull Bitcoin, we see it very differently. We have a realistic and optimistic approach to building a bright future for Bitcoin. I've never been so bullish on Bitcoin as I am today. Make no mistake, the core principles of Bitcoin self-custody, censorship resistance, and privacy are under attack. But the Bitcoin community possesses a unique advantage that ultimately will allow us to prevail. Not only we have skin in the game, but we have soul in the game. Our tribe of a few thousand cypherpunk Bitcoin maximalist fanatics stands against an empire of fiat clones, millions of faceless cogs in a soulless machine. I like our odds. While I agree that we should never take Bitcoin's success for granted, the bleak picture that some want to paint regarding the state of Bitcoin is completely detached from reality. We've already achieved incredible technological miracles. The fact that it is possible for a user to run a Lightning Network node on a mobile device and make fully trustless payments is a monumental achievement. And despite what they claim, I guarantee that no other shitcoin or fiat payment system has anywhere close to the levels of sophistication of Bitcoin. It's an incredibly bullish sign for the Bitcoin ecosystem that we have achieved a level where users can remain fully sovereign if they have the means. Scaling Bitcoin so that it can enable hundreds of millions of people to become sovereign individuals is the most pressing challenge of our times. Our community must accept inevitable realities. Not everybody will be able to afford on-chain transactions. The success of Bitcoin means that one day during our lifetime, a single Bitcoin transaction will cost hundreds of dollars. Upgrading the Bitcoin protocol may allow us to create tools that enable more secure, censorship-resistant, and private payment mechanisms, but no soft fork is going to fix the fundamental trade-offs of the Bitcoin protocol. But that doesn't mean that we should give up on Bitcoin's value as a medium of exchange, or that we must fork Bitcoin according to the whims of whoever is trending on Twitter, nor should we capitulate to traditional exchanges acting as banks for the vast majority of users. To fix the inconvenient and expensive user experience that
Okay, as much as I would like to keep that going, I just want to point out a couple of things here. The first thing I'd say is that what a guy. I mean, you listen to that guy talk. I'm sure you've heard people within the Bitcoin community speak on different things, different CEOs pushing their products, their company. You listen to Francis talk and you can tell that his heart's in the right place. And for me anyways, I'm very much attracted. I mean, not like physically in a gay way, attracted to that. But that's the kind of stuff. That's the kind of stuff that that's who I want to support. That's who I want to support. And so a couple things here in the chat I saw that I wanted to touch on quickly. Galveston Country Mike, good morning from Texas. Morning, brother. What's good for Asia? Because I want to get out of Binance. Go to I think it's bitcoin.org. Bitcoin.org. And then go to resources, exchanges, and then you can see a list of all the Bitcoin exchanges here. You can go to peer-to-peer. There's a couple in Asia there that are peer-to-peer. And then you can just click into Asia right there and you're going to see, oh, maybe there are none. Nope, that's a lie. There's only two in Asia, I guess. Currency.com and Rain. Rain looks like it's in a few countries over there. Never heard of it before, but something worth trying. I mean, I've used Binance before. I used Binance for a lot of years before switching over to some of the Bitcoin-only exchanges. But there would be other exchanges in Asia. These would just be Bitcoin-only exchanges. And that's what I would recommend people use, Bitcoin-only stuff. Devices, exchanges, companies, focus on the Bitcoin-only stuff because there's less noise. More focus on what we want here. I had another video to watch here, and maybe we'll save this for tomorrow. But a couple things here. Taking the hard path. He said we're in a very unique position right now. We're in a very difficult position. And although it has been fairly tough to this point, it's going to get tougher. And so I got 5 or 6 things here that I want to talk about in terms of how we can do our best to navigate that, I guess, because it is going to get tough. It's going to get tough for Bitcoiners. So a couple of things I would say here. The first one is that focus on learning. And you're here today. Obviously, you're working towards that. But try to learn as much as you can about Bitcoin itself, about using Bitcoin privately, about storing your Bitcoin, the different options for that. Try to support companies who are using Bitcoin only, like Bull Bitcoin, like, what was that? Rain. Focus on them and learn how to do it. Learn about Lightning, learn about Liquid, learn about eCash. Because you want to, if shit were to hit the fan, you want your Bitcoin to be as private as possible. You don't have to obsess about getting non-KYC Bitcoin. That should be part of your plan into Bitcoin, but don't obsess over that. Just learn about privacy tools like Liquid, like Lightning, eCash. Just educate yourself. The more educated you are, the better you're going to be able to withstand the attacks. Second one is security, which ties directly into that. Make sure that you have, if you do have a UTXO, if you're in a point where you have one Bitcoin UTXO, regardless of the size of it, make sure to protect that with your life. Keep the 90%, spend the 5 or 10% on your retirement, on living, whenever you need to, but focus on keeping that 90% and keeping it safe. So part of that education is whether you have to invest in a course, whether you have to invest in somebody to help you through it based on your specific situation, but learn how to keep that Bitcoin secure, because it is going to be extremely valuable in the future. So just be aware of that. The third one here is mining, decentralized mining. He talked about the centralization issues with mining. There are very easy tools available now to Bitcoiners, including the BitAxe, which is the video that I was going to show today, but we ran out of time, unfortunately. So maybe I'll show it tomorrow. But the more we can decentralize the Bitcoin mining, the better it's going to be. So just start looking into that. Make that part of your education, learning about mining. That should be where everybody starts. If you can understand the Bitcoin mining process, as hard as it is to wrap your head around, it's a really good place to start, because you're going to have very high conviction. And when that time comes, when Wall Street's going to try to get you to sell your Bitcoin, they're going to run the price up high enough where they're going to try to get you to sell your Bitcoin to them. You're going to have enough conviction, knowing the mining and running your own miner. I mean, you might hit the lottery, you might make some Bitcoin, but the important part of that is that you're decentralizing the Bitcoin network. So for a couple $100 now, you can grab a BitAxe and you can start mining at your house for very cheap. Third one here, or the fourth one, is just manage your expectations with this and with anything in life. The more you can manage your expectations, the less stressed and the less bad days you're going to have. If you just kind of expect that if Bitcoin succeeds, there's going to be people coming after you. If you have that in your mind today and you're expecting that to happen, you're going to be prepared for it. And when that time comes, it's going to be very less detrimental to you as a Bitcoiner. So just be ready for it. Manage your expectations. You're here now. It's a blessing. It's a very big opportunity, but prepare to be attacked from every angle. Next one here is just trust the process. Part of the whole thing here is that you have to have a very long time preference. You have to be laser focused on the goal of decentralizing the world, of separating money from state. And if you focus on the process, everything becomes easier. Don't worry about the bullshit. Just focus, be laser focused on the end goal here, and everything to get there. Trust that. And the next one here is get yourself, become part of a community within Bitcoin. And I mean, showing up here in the live chat, I mean, it's a small community, but it's a community. So find a few communities and networks. The stronger your community, the stronger your network within Bitcoin, the better off you're going to be and the faster you can leave the fiat system. Because if you have people within your network that you can buy from with Bitcoin and sell things to for Bitcoin, the faster you can leave that old system. Ideally, you want to have somebody that you can buy meat from with Bitcoin, that will cut your grass for Bitcoin, shovel your snow for Bitcoin, cut your hair for Bitcoin. If you have that within your network, and the bigger your network grows, the less reliance you have on the fiat world. And the less reliance you have on the fiat world, the better spot that you're going to be in. So focus on getting a community, finding a network. I would strongly suggest becoming a part of the Living in the Future tier. You can get information for that in the show notes. But I'm not lying to you. The people over there, the community, the things that are being built and shared on there, it's invaluable, especially if you're somebody who's new to Bitcoin and you're looking for some people to talk to about it. The other part of that too is that when these attacks do happen, you want somebody there or a group of people there to kind of talk you through it together. That's the key of it, right? So when you're getting attacked, regardless of what angle it's coming from, if you can have somebody there to talk to that you can trust, that's going to make your experience a whole hell of a lot easier for you. So consider that. It's 8:57 here. I do have to get going. Aaron Haywood says, are you trying to tell us something? I'm guessing that was about my comment towards Francis. That was not the intention there to tell you something. So I think that's where we're going to leave it today. I got 3 minutes here to get to my meeting. I don't know how I can see this note from Microdose. It won't show up for me. But we got Bitcoin and Clyde over in the Zapdos stream as well. Okay, let's call it a day here. So with that, I appreciate there's a lot of new faces in the chat this morning, which is good to see. It is a beautiful day. It is a beautiful day. Matthew Hines, Ska Live. And Steven says RoboSats is Mega 2 and non-KYC. So leave it there. We'll leave it there for today. I cut myself pretty much zero time here. Oh, there we go. I'm going to show this quickly before we go. This is from Microdose over on Zap.stream. It says, finally got my stickers printed. Feel so excited to find perfect spots for those that can be scanned from as many people as possible. By the way, the lady on the printing service is also in crypto. Not Bitcoin Max yet, but I'm going to convince her more next time I go for more stickers. So here it is. This is the note that was shared over in Zap Stream. Some stickers, stick them around the town. It's better than a Bitcoin shirt, probably. You get more people seeing it, more people scanning it, and more people learning about Bitcoin. So shout out to our buddy Microdose over in Zap.stream. And that's it. So I got 1 minute now. Have yourselves an amazing Tuesday. Thanks for being here today. Thanks for taking on the responsibility and taking the hard path. It's not easy, but it's going to be very much worth it. So we'll see you right back here first thing tomorrow morning. And if you're interested in being part of a community, part of a network, join the Living in the Future. You're not going to regret it. I guarantee it. We'll talk to you first thing right back here tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.